Why, Internet? I didn't see you there. You've caught me in the nude. I'm joking, of course. I'm Steve Webberell, and I'm always in the nude. And I'm the guy from the podcast you're currently listening to with some sad/great news. We haven't been able to make a regular episode this week, so we have dug through the archives of the Mimic Chest, our secret, normally patron-only content, which you too can have first access to, and amongst other fantastic benefits such as being part of our wonderful Discord community, where I will occasionally stumble in drunk and alienate everyone. You can join us on Patreon for some money a month, enough to feed a starving cup of coffee. Probably. So I very much hope that this scratches your entertainment itch. It's a fun one. Lots of dumb stuff on it. It's got, the guys being dumb on it as usual. We wouldn't want to take that away from you. We know you need your fix of stupidity. But if you're already a patron and you've already heard this one, then apologies. I know you guys are the guys that make everything possible. You're the reason we do extra content. You're the reason we can have fun live events and all that jazz. And I'm sorry I've let you down. But to make it up, there will be a Jane's side quest this week at some point. So keep an eye out for that. Did you know the Calamity Janes do side quests now on their channel? Yeah, they do now and then. You should be looking in on them. Same with the Salty Bastards. Great content. If you haven't listened to either the Salty Bastard or Calamity Janes yet, now would be an excellent time to go and do that. You're missing out, sucker. Go look them up on your podcast listening platform of choice now. I'll wait, and then I'll edit out the waiting time for the magic of editing. Anyway, enjoy this Mimic Chest. Yes! Hi there, and welcome to another Mimic Chest, a secret monthly podcast we do for patrons only. We occasionally put them out live just to try and entice more patrons, but they're generally just for the patrons. And today we're going to be mimicking, in the style of the Mimic Chest, in which we mimic other better podcasts, we're going to be mimicking Wikishuffle again, a podcast that is close to me geographically, a British podcast. The premise of which is they hit the Wikipedia random article button until they find an intriguing and enticing, interesting Wikipedia page for them to talk about and riff on, enlightening you, the listener, and hopefully entertaining you as well. This providing they actually find a Wikipedia page that's interesting and not just a load of boring shit. But who do we have surfing the Wikipedia random article button today? We have myself, Steve Webberell. We have Rick Waltieri. We have Robert Bevan and Miss D. Massey. Hello.
Hi.
Hello, friends.
Howdy.
You know what? We've done this a couple of times, and it's quite an easy one. Normally, we learn something new. We learn something fun. We make fun of it. But the Wikipedia has not been kind to me today. My Wikipedia selections are not that interesting. Don't tune out, listeners. I'm sure we can still salvage this. I'm just saying.
I believe in you, Steve. You can do it.
Yeah. I believe in us as a team. Together we can make this interesting.
Woohoo!
Let's not put this on me. So, with that stunningly enthusiastic endorsement of the entertainment to come, I'll tell you what, Misty, you're new to this format. Why don't you start? What delights has Wikipedia thrown your way today?
I hate you. Okay. Well, actually, I found an interesting one that I'm probably going to deep dive on this later because there are a lot of other links to follow. You know how they have other links in the article that you can follow away, and I'm going to have to read on this one some more. But basically, I found out about, and I think I'm saying this correctly, Na Tet Pya, who was a Burmese outlaw in the 14th century, later became a commander in the Royal Army, And he's remembered as kind of their Robin Hood, because he robbed the rich and shared his loot with the poor. And I was really interested in this article. Well, I've always been kind of a fan of the whole Robin Hood thing anyway. Since I was a kid, I just thought Robin Hood was very cool. But so I was already drawn to it. But then I was reading through the article, and it says that he's running around his part of the country, robbing the rich and helping the poor and doing all those naughty things that kings don't like you to do. And at one point, he was brought before the king, who was known for meting out severe punishments to naughty bandits like him, like Natet.
Did he pick his pocket?
No, he did not pick his pocket.
Bummer.
The bandit was standing in front of the king, and the king said, "Choose the weapon by which you would like to be executed." And Natet Pia said, "I choose your most beautiful queen, Sa Oma." And the king said, "You're a brave man. I spare your life. You can go free. You can even join my army." And that's cool. But I'm like, what I want to know now is, what was it that Sa Ama could do that she would be a weapon? Was she skilled with a sword, or was she poison skin or something?
I think he just wanted to be fucked to death, and the king wasn't having it.
Yeah,
it's entirely possible.
This might take a while.
But equally, he could have said that like, "Yeah, I'm going to be sexed to death by your woman," and the king would have went, "Very well, wife. Here is a gun. Shoot this fucker in the head."
Yeah. I think it would be great if he would have picked the wife, and the wife just suddenly drew two swords and started spinning around. He's like, "Oh, fuck!"
Just cracks her knuckles. Finally,
He should have said, "King, you could suck my dick to death."
Well, that's the thing. The king goes, "You're a brave man." Why is he a brave man? For choosing the queen. What is it that she can do that makes him brave? I'm going to have to read more about this, because
I think if you choose the king's wife, you're pretty brave.
It just breaks you brave.
Take some gusto.
yeah. I mean, if he's basically saying, "All right, we're going to choose the manner of your execution," and he's like, "I would like to fuck the queen." He's like, the king's like, "You know what? You're all right. Off you go."
You should, if the queen's name is there, you should click the link, because it might come up and be like, this woman was known for for strangling burglars to death.
This woman had severe gonorrhea.
I did follow the link to her name, thinking, okay, there's something cool this woman can do, and they don't have it in this very short little the article about her. But although she, let's see, at one point the king had died from smallpox. This is later, and one of the king's close advisors went to the queen and told her he had come to kill her on the king's orders, because the king didn't want her taken by another man. And she said to him, "Well, aren't you a man?" And right then he decided that she and he would take the throne together. So I'm like, dang, this woman. I want to know more about this woman. So
Is the entire country's legal system based on pithy one-liners?
right? It's like, why did I not know more about Burma to start, or Myanmar? But
just in court, somebody says, "Your Honor, this man is a murderer," and the defendant's like, "Well, I know you are, but what am I?" And the judge is like, "I like this guy. He's a brave man. Let's let him off."
Sound legal philosophy, sir.
I'm not a lawyer, but it sounds cool.
Yeah, they need to have some king and be like, okay, new rule. If you got a pithy one-liner, you just get eaten by feral hogs. If you're not going to take this seriously, it's the pigs.
Right, it's people like you the reason that the legal system is so boring. How dare you demand consistency and fairness? I want flair and interesting stories to tell down the pub later. That's what I want.
You know what I want? I want leaders who are clever enough to when somebody asks them for something like that, to to have an answer ready. That's just well, you're not well, you got me.
I would have just I don't know what the royal family is like in Burma or Myanmar or whatever it's called now, but I could see the Queen beating someone to death in my country. Like, if somebody was going to, like, give her the excuse, it's like, well, you could have just went through the legal system, but you called out the Queen, and now she's going to punch you to death.
I would ask my Queen, I was like, I want you to file your teeth into points and spend a lot of time just just biting on, this wood block, just in case this scenario comes up.
Right. And how cool would that be? You choose my queen very well, and she comes out and she's got pointy teeth and long steel nails in her fingers. And
you as the king are just like, fucking finally.
It's like, the woman next to me is not the Queen, friend. Unleash the Queen, and it's like gate just rattles up.
or that, it's like, make sure, pass some law that, okay, it's like, my first wife has to be an angry killer ape or something. I want to be fucked to death by your wife. Bring out the gorilla.
That needs to be a secret law.
It does sound like the kind of...
I don't mean the angry gorilla one.
Well, and this guy, the bandit, you were saying that you wanted flair. The bandit was a guy, but even when he wasn't trying to be ostentatious, he was, because at one point he's been stealing jewelry from the nobles, and so the king goes off in disguise as a commoner to try to get him to rob him. And so the bandit shows up, and he and the king make small talk and go off to have a few drinks at the house, get completely drunk. The king goes through his bag after the bandit passes out and finds a bunch of stolen jewelry and puts it on, and then goes to see all his nobles, and he's wearing all the stolen jewelry on his fingers. And they say, well, that's our jewelry. But he says, nope, I've apprehended the bandit, and look at my jewelry.
Fuck you, it isn't. Don't you understand how our legal system works?
Yeah, I was going to say, this king sounds cooler than the bandit.
I like the king.
I know, right? All these people are fun. This is somebody should have written stories about these people.
Does not sound like a stable system of government at all, but it sounds hilarious.
Well, I don't think stable government is a term that you really hear attached to me and Mark too often.
That's true, yeah.
But that was Na Tet Pia and Sa Oma, and who was the king? The king was, what was the king's name? Tado Minbya.
Just make it up. Who's going to know?
I will know.
I like a system of government is basically rule of cool. I think that, give it a go. Why not?
Yeah.
As the way ours has been here the last few years, I'm good with trying it out, because it couldn't be any worse than what we've had lately.
Yeah. Just mind you, just making up bullshit as you go along. I mean, we're not too far away from that, really.
No.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it's not too far off for one of our presidents just wander into a place and be like, "Well, this is my oil field now."
Because I found a pull tab from a Coca-Cola can here on the ground, and that gives me the right. See, it's on my finger, so it must be.
As long as people are passionate about the legal system, then it'll work itself out. I'm sure it's fine. Well, that was a pretty cool one to start with. I enjoyed that.
I got a horrific one, which I'd really love to get off the page of my computer.
Yes, let's do that one.
I can't wait.
All right, well, I kind of hit the random lottery here because I pulled up the page for CBT. What does CBT stand for, you might add? It stands for cock and ball torture. Also known as penis torture, dick torture, male genital torture. Oh, and they give examples of devices and practices, including the ball stretcher, the ball crusher, the parachute, which is described as a small collar, usually made from leather, which fastens around the scrotum and from which weights can be hung.
Oh my God.
Testicle cuffs.
What? In case your testicles try to escape? What?
You're under arrest.
I'm still stuck on stretching. Why do you need to stretch them?
Well,
I don't think you need to do any of these.
Yeah.
In fact, I think most of these things are harmful.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In fact, there's one called ball busting, which is just the practice of kicking and kneeing each other in the testicles.
No.
Man, there are a lot of dicks on this page, and they'd be tortured in horrific ways, and that's why I kind of wanted to get this one out of the way because I think this one's going to haunt me in my dreams tonight.
I woke up this morning from a nightmare about dinosaurs having run wild through the world, and we had to hide from them in a mall. And I'm pretty sure that you have overtaken my nightmare from last night.
I really don't.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that sounds great. I don't want to wake. I don't want to go to sleep tonight. And the second I close my eyes, there's there's somebody there going, "It's time for the ball crusher."
The dinosaurs have got those little arms, but I reckon they could probably hold a couple of pairs of testicle cuffs if they needed to.
Oh, in case you're wondering, the ball crusher is essentially thumb screws, but for your testicles.
Well, that's worse.
I'm wondering more about the ball stretcher. Does it turn them in like a hot dog shape?
It is a sex toy that is used to elongate the scrotum and provide a feeling of weight of pulling the testicles away from the body. In short, it's kind of an old age simulator, I guess.
Well, all right. So it's a scrotum stretcher.
Yes.
That's different than a ball stretcher.
Well,
that's not.
And far less horrific, I think.
Don't well me. That's
split pubic hairs.
No, I wasn't welling you. I was welling because I was thinking about how so many people in this world right now do not understand how bodies work in any fashion, and so I could see it easily being a confusing, ball scrotum. They wouldn't know the difference, but I wasn't.
Yeah, I don't want either stretched.
Neither, thank you.
If I had to choose,
I don't want anything stretched. Yeah. No stretching. No stretching. Yeah. No crushing. No stretching.
I want to be in the middle of church there. Somebody's giving me a sermon in Jesus, and then he's like, well, now that we're done, bring out the ball crushers.
Wasn't that basically the Spanish Inquisition?
I think so. Yeah, that's what you get when you mix up religion with BDSM. But
but the whole problem there is although that would have been interesting, how freaked out they would have been if they're there and they're like, yes, we're putting the testicle screws on you, and somebody's like, war.
Now, is he a heretic or a true believer? That's where the real questions come in. Well, I'm glad you just so happened to stumble onto that dick and ball torture page there, Rick. That's brightened my day. I'm glad there's a Wikipedia page dedicated to that.
Not a whole lot of dick torture. Mostly balls.
Yeah. Well, I think most of the dick torture they talk about is primarily just tasing your dick, I guess.
Just
unpleasant, but yeah.
Yeah, just.
The balls are more sensitive.
Yeah, there's nothing about that sounds remotely appealing.
Mine are creeping into my body right now.
Sensible.
Now, the Inquisition page does not list ball stretching specifically, but it does list stretching of other body parts. So I'm inclined to think that there was also ball stretching going on in the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh yeah, there was that one guy. They're like, bring in Father Perez and his specialty.
Now, did you look up scrotum stretching? Because they might have just been more accurate back then.
Nope. I'm not gonna either.
What is the Spanish for scrotum stretching? I feel like this should be on Wikipedia.
I really don't want to click any of the links from this page.
I took 3 years of Spanish, and I don't know this. So what good was that education?
Escroto.
Estiramiento del escroto. Apparently.
Balls saco.
I'm looking at a blown up picture of male chastity belts, and these are fucking horrific.
Yep, not looking.
Oh,
don't want to know.
This is one of those times where I just want to drink wood alcohol and kill these brain cells.
People got a lot of time on their hands.
No. They have a lot of time on their dicks.
Is life so boring for you that you're just like, you know what? Stretch my scrotum. That's the only thing that does it for me anymore. Or is life so exciting for you, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I just, I just can't even. The idea of that is just terrifying.
It's not an attractive image.
Terrifying for you?
Yeah, and I don't even have the equipment to have the problem. But although they could stretch things on me that would be equally unpleasant, but
Yeah.
You could look like you had a scrotum.
by the time they were done. And I don't want to.
Wacky Spanish Inquisition.
They have a link here for erotic electrostimulation.
Oh no. Well, as long as these people are keeping themselves occupied.
True.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering who the first person who got zapped by by an electrical socket and said, "I wonder how that would feel on my dick."
I mean, the good news is these people definitely ain't breeding. So, or I don't know, maybe the occasional electrical jolt or mechanical stretching is good for the reproductive process. I'm not a biologist.
Oh God,
Got those swimmers swimming.
that now you know where twitchy children come from.
Okay, I'm having a freak out moment because I taught preschool for a bunch of years in my younger, more energetic days, and I just remembered there was this one little boy who figured out how to pull the cap off of the outlet on the wall, and at nap time he had one of those little bread ties, the little piece of wire that you used to close a loaf of bread, the package.
Yep.
And he had figured out that if he pulled the cap off the outlet and stuck the little bread tie thing in there, he would get just the tiniest little zap. And we caught him, and we had to call his mom, and she had to take him to the hospital. He was fine, but she took him to the hospital to make sure he was all right. And the next day when he came to school, he went straight for that wall. And I said, "Okay, no, never again. No, your nap time's going to be over here."
That kid has a stun gun connected to his nuts right now.
I'm really scared he does.
I have a
It's
fork.
like his bum came in. It's wait till I get you home and your father speaks to you after I unlock him from his sex dungeon electrodes.
Yeah, it's probably some kind of pinhead. Pleasure is pain. The sights your mother has to show me.
Now I hope I never randomly find some porn of that type on the internet. Sometimes you just run into it. I'm like, I really hope I never run into it and see that little boy all grown up, because I will just shut down at that point.
Misty, I look at a lot of porn, and I never, ever run into that random.
Okay, good.
Whatever you're doing, hardcore shit.
Yeah. Stop Googling his name plus ball torture.
I don't even remember his name, which is probably good.
Sparky.
I don't remember his name, but I'm glad of that.
Yes.
Because I don't want to know.
Probably for the best.
Yes, I believe so.
All right, let's move away from Dick and Ball.
Thank
God, yes.
I got something boring.
Hooray.
Please.
Human-powered land vehicle. Huh?
You mean like a bike?
Yes. Also, like a skateboard,
That's where I went.
Gravity racers, snowboard.
Feet.
For a little while there, I was like, wow, a human-powered land vehicle. And I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Do you remember how I was like desperately like searching for something interesting? Like that's after I found this one.
That doesn't bode well for the rest of your selections.
No.
Well,
we got
you said one of them is luge, right?
Yeah, that is.
I love the luge. I love to watch the luge. I don't like to ride one because I would kill myself. But
no, well, what is it?
Is this?
I think Jerry Seinfeld did a bit on that. Like,
oh, really?
you don't really have an option. You're just in there and it goes.
I don't know if that's human powered. That seems more like gravity. Yeah.
Well, all right. It says here many human-powered land vehicles can also be gravity-powered land vehicles, and vice versa.
Psych.
Oh, right.
Damn it! They have a point.
They've seen me coming. They're like that. They're like that Burma bandit guy. They've just got every situation covered.
Exactly.
Some smarmy motherfucker on Wikipedia, when he starts riding downhill on his bike, he's like, it's no longer a human-powered land vehicle. Fuck you.
All right, so you found like a definitive list of human-powered land vehicles.
Kind of. This is surprisingly a short article. I didn't scroll down until just now.
That does not surprise me at all.
Yeah.
Well, it surprises me. I thought it would go into detail about each one. I don't even see skateboard here. Or I see longboarding, which the picture has a guy on a skateboard. I guess it's a long skateboard.
Yeah. I think it's probably one of those things where if you see a longboarder and you say, hey, nice skateboard, they beat you to death.
With the board.
Yeah. It's probably like some kind of cultural thing. I don't know.
Wheelchair. Rickshaw.
And now I want to do that every time I see a skateboarder, just like drive past and be like, nice bike.
Nice human-powered land vehicle, nerd.
Does it have snowboards?
Yeah, that's listed.
Well, you can't really. That's a human-powered snow vehicle. You can't just use that on any land. I'm going to call bullshit here. I've never looked at a bike or anything and just went, oh, that's an impressive human-powered land vehicle. I've never thought about it in those terms at all.
Yeah, the only one that's impressive is the bicycle. Because all the other ones, they either just go on your feet and it's more complicated walking than, or they got wheels and shit and you're just rolling down hills.
The bicycle is like an impressive invention.
It is alone here in that it's the types of propulsion. The drivetrain is the only listing is the bicycle. But yeah, it baffles me that a bicycle was ever invented. The way it works, the whole idea of, all right, if you just set this down without a kickstand, it's gonna fall over. Yeah. But if you're moving, miraculously, it'll stay upright.
If you just like wiggle your legs and hope for the best, it'll be fine.
You know, the person who built the very first bicycle was burned for witchcraft.
Well, apparently the inventor was Karl von Drais, German inventor, in 1817. His machine originally was known as the Swift Walker, and the early bicycle had no pedals in its frame, so it's like one of those push-along bikes you get, which make more so. That would have been more of a sell, I reckon. Like you can just push this thing along. If I'd seen somebody like doing the pedal thing back then and bikes weren't invented, I'd be
that's just like complicated walking.
Yeah, well, it's a human powered land vehicle.
I go somewhere, but I want fucking this metal frame between my legs.
Yeah, when you get on a hill, that's the precursor for the bicycle.
But again, somebody needed to figure out first that it wasn't just going to fall over. How did they? I don't know how they figured that out. I guess
I'm telling you,
I guess life was
somebody
boring
before
back
him
then
who was burned for witchcraft.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, and then of course they had the penny farthing before the bicycle actually became popular, and that's the one with the ginormous big front wheel.
Yeah.
But does that not count as a?
Well, that counts as a bicycle.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, the German guy, did he invent whatever he invented before the penny farthing?
Steerable two-wheel contraption that would have looked more like an actual bicycle with no pedals. It was known as a velocipede.
But was that before or after the penny farthing?
Before.
Okay.
Before the pedal bicycle.
The velocipede was first.
Yeah, the penny farthing was basically somebody saying, the velocipede is cool, but what if you were on top of this 8-foot, wheel, where if you fell off, it would really fucking hurt?
The velocipede would have been like some German guy just like, imagine if your crotch had wheels. And you went from there. That's basically all it was. But
Drew says, we can make that happen.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, wouldn't walking be more difficult? Be like, yeah, but occasionally you could just sail down a hill. But the first pedal bicycle, Kirkpatrick Macmillan, apparently, the modern pedal-driven bicycle. I'm going to call that as the first bicycle in 1812. No, he was born in 1812. Sorry, I was going to say if somebody invented the actual pedal bicycle before the velocipede, then the guy who invented the velocipede must have been like, people would have really made fun of him. Like, you ain't invented shit. You fucker. But no, the first pedal bicycle was invented in 1839.
Wow, I'm surprised it's that recent.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, it's a hell of an invention.
It sure is.
It is.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, it's only been like 200 years before we're like, since we've been like, or less since we've been like opening up the windows and throwing our shit out of it.
Yeah,
That's true.
he invented the pedal bicycle. Somebody was like, "Oh, what's the matter? Walking not good enough for you, you pussy."
God, we really are a stupid species. I mean, think
Yeah.
about I mean, we've come so far in 200 years, but it's like 5,000 years before that. Like,
we did this shit.
I'm just gonna shit in the corner and let the rats bite me.
This is what gets me about like current internet malaise. It's like life would have been so much better before like the 9-to-5 capitalist society. But no, you would have just been sitting in a field of shit hoping somebody invented the bicycle.
You would have been sitting in a field of shit. You'd
It's
have been
like-
working since you got old enough, like at 4.
Yeah. You'd be working in a field of shit. Like, somebody would invent the velocipede, and you'd be like, "Now, why didn't I think of a crutch with wheels?" And then you'd have to wait another 20 years before somebody invented an actual useful bike.
Like,
And
well, congratulations, you're 4, son. Start rolling these rocks uphill for Pharaoh.
When's Twitter coming?
There's a quote about the bicycle. I can't remember who said it. It said, "If it wasn't for the invention of the bicycle, most of the East Midlands would have died of inbreeding long ago." I thought, yeah, that's true. It's like you're in a village in the middle of nowhere. You got 2 choices: you can walk for 2 days, or you can fuck your cousin.
Horses.
Poor
Yeah,
people
but-
couldn't have horses.
Yeah, horses eat
Somebody's like,
too much.
this one's like, well, nobody's invented the velocipede yet, so I'm gonna go feed my horse, then fuck my sheep.
I didn't even think about riding horses. I thought you were talking about fucking horses.
It's like, wait,
The whole time I was thinking, Jesus, Rick, there are easier animals to fuck.
yeah, there's somebody there. It's like, wait, by ride horses, you didn't mean?
Some teenage boy like, "Dad, I really need a bicycle. Otherwise, this is going to end in insourced." And he's like, "Why not take a horse?" And later on, it's like, the kid is dead. That's not what I meant, you idiot.
God, I want to see that family thing. It's like, Dad, I need a bicycle, or I'm gonna fuck my sister.
Or is this there's an ugly hooved child in the future?
Oh, man. We used to get into so much trouble. I mean, not trouble, but we used to get away with stuff when I was a kid because we had our bikes. Because, we could just get on our bikes and go anywhere we felt like at 10 or 11 years old. And, it was grand.
A bike in the 80s and 90s. I mean, that was like the whole concept of a pirate ship from Pirates of the Caribbean there. It was freedom.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. I loved my bike.
Not for my kids.
No.
Yeah, my son, we live out in the country on a road where people drive really, really fast and there's no side of the road. I mean, it's just all of a sudden you're just off the road in the grass. And so my son really didn't have the opportunity to learn to ride a bike the way I did. And I always felt bad about that. But
Yeah, Misty, I'm sure you grew up in the same situation, but nobody gave a fuck. That's the difference.
Well, no, there is a difference because all those kids who grew up riding bikes a lot of them became annoying fucking adults who decided, well, I'm going to wear spandex and buy a $3,000 bike and ride tandem with 14 of my buddies across the road and make the people in the cars want to hit us.
yes. There's a festival that my city does once a year. It's called Come See Me. How's that for exciting? And one of the things, they used to do a bike race through town, and they would have volunteers come to kind of make sure that people driving cars didn't go plowing into the racers when they were coming through. And I remember one year I was helping my friend out, and I was one of the volunteers, and this woman in an SUV, all the bikes are coming through, and she's determined that she's going to turn left into the road that they're on, and she's like, scooting up on us. We're going, stop. It was crazy. So she wanted to run them all down, but we didn't let her.
Yeah, and I mean, there used to be nice bike trails where I grew up, but the problem was, like, eventually those nice bike trails just became more like nice crack trails.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I got hit by a car when I was on a bike. Didn't do me any harm. It's a valuable learning experience on not being hit by a car when you're on a bike. I'll never learn unless you run them down. That's evolution. But yeah, the bicycle, very important invention. I'm glad we moved on there from human-powered land vehicles, which is a really fucking weird way of saying that.
Me too. I did not think we'd get this much interesting conversation out of that topic.
That would be a great way to just get your kid out of it. I want a bike, Dad. Here is your human-powered land vehicle, and that is what we would call this in this household, son.
Otherwise known as shoes.
I have constructed for you a velocipede. Now away from this village and don't fuck your sister. Yeah, the bicycle is quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna ruin that now. I picked this one because it's deliberately uninteresting. I want to talk about the rock and roll McDonald's.
I don't know. You've got my interest. Yeah. What the hell is that?
Well, here's the thing. I thought it was really interesting as well, but I'm about to disappoint everyone because it's fucking not. The Rock and Roll McDonald's, formerly the original Rock and Roll McDonald's, is a flagship McDonald's restaurant in Chicago, or it was in Chicago, and it's one of the most famous McDonald's locations in the world, one of the busiest. And here's the thing: I think it still exists, but it has no rock and roll theme.
Okay.
The only thing on this Wikipedia page that is saying it's like there's a place that's called the Rock and Roll McDonald's, and it is just a McDonald's.
I know exactly what happened. The second they put a guitar in Ronald McDonald's hands, Gene Simmons showed up and sued the fuck out of him.
It's like that Ronald McDonald House bullshit. You think you're gonna go down in the world, but no, you're just hanging out with a bunch of battered women. Boring.
Well, apparently the original 1983 building had a kind of a rock and roll museum adjacent to it, but it's still like the McDonald's wasn't rock and roll themed at all. So
that's so weird.
Yeah, it had an adjacent building that had a rock and roll theme, but the McDonald's apparently it was like the first one to have a 2-lane drive-through. Which I guess is impressive.
Rock and roll.
That is lame. I mean, like last night we had one of those ice cream trucks drive through the neighborhood. And I had this brainstorm. I was like, what if I were to buy an ice cream truck, and instead of that annoying sound and making it all kid friendly, I just painted skulls on it and just played Pantera as I was driving through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's not hard, isn't it? You have a little Ronald McDonald statue outside. You give him some sunglasses, a guitar. Grimace on drums, those little fry monsters, and they can be the backing singers. This is really fucking easy, McDonald's.
Yeah. Well, when we were in Nashville for the convention, my family and I were hard pressed for time to get something to eat before we had to get back for me to be on a panel or something. So we popped into McDonald's, and they had like a stage and a dude singing and playing guitar there.
Of course they did.
There's your rock and roll McDonald's.
That's Nashville.
That's country music, McDonald's.
Well, whatever. It was still...
Oh, don't say that in Nashville, buddy.
Live music at a McDonald's.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like it's just a law in Nashville that every restaurant has to have a stage where somebody can get up and like lament, like, his girlfriend who left with his dog and stuff.
Yeah, I don't give a shit about it being live music. I want the Hamburglar with a leather jacket on a motorcycle.
Yeah, I want to like order fries and like have the person who's taking my order just like lean forward and scream, Grimace is gonna rock your fucking face. I want a McDonald's with a mosh pit. That's what I want.
Yeah, I mean, in the 1983, I'm talking about the 1983 McDonald's, Hamburglar with a leather jacket and a quiff. Like 2020 rock and roll McDonald's, yeah, it's basically Slipknot, but McDonald's characters.
I would eat there. I would be there every freaking day. Slipknot McDonald's. I would just be all up in that shit.
I don't do
Yeah.
McDonald's, but that would be much cooler. I would listen to all your stories about McDonald's.
It'd be certainly a lot cooler than a McDonald's that is called the Rock and Roll McDonald's, but it just fucking isn't.
Exactly. I mean, that's just lazy.
Hi, welcome to the Rock and Roll McDonald's. You fucking suck.
What's rock and roll about you? Explain it. There's just a queue of angry middle-aged drunks. What's rock and roll about you, you fuck? Explain it to me.
I would have just seen a bunch of like angry, stoned, like 50-year-old, like, guys dressed like Motley Crue going in there. You're like, the fuck is up in here?
And
it's Woodstock for disappointed customers.
And see, I'm seeing it staffed entirely by a bunch of emo kids. Welcome to McDonald's. It's the rock and roll. What do you want?
You remember when Rick and Morty they did the Szechuan sauce thing, and then
oh yeah,
all the McDonald's got stormed. Imagine the rock and roll McDonald's. They already have like so many angry people coming up to them, and then Rick and Morty fans on top of that.
That's just a fight between middle-aged rock purists and millennial cartoon fans with too much time on their hands. Just the bloodiest riot in McDonald's history.
And that there's some middle manager there. He's making his $13 an hour, who's just determined to not let any rock and roll in that McDonald's.
It's like Footloose, but in McDonald's. It's just John Lithgow.
We don't dance here, mister.
You put that drum kit away, Grimace.
Because you know what dancing leads to? Cheeseburgers.
My daughter died in a hot rod cheeseburger eating contest. And there will be no rock and roll at this McDonald's henceforth. Oh, now I really want to write that movie. I'm surprised we got anything out of that at all, because my entire reason for picking this was, rock and roll McDonald's, that sounds fun. And then it just fucking wasn't at all. No. So, okay, we've had two actually quite interesting ones. One of them horrifying. Bevan's was accidentally interesting. Mine was, I guess, interesting in spite of itself.
Yeah.
Let's go around again. What else have you got, Misty?
I'm not sure how I ran into this one, but I love that I did. It's the hurricane cocktail, which absolutely not related to the storm in any fashion, unless I suppose if you want to make them and drink them during a hurricane, I would be perfectly happy with doing that. But it's a sweet alcoholic drink made with rum, lemon juice, and passion fruit syrup. It is famously known now for being a New Orleans drink, but it was actually invented in 1938 or so, served at the New York World's Fair, because wacky fun, family time, let's have drinks with rum in them.
Things were better back then, Misty.
I know, right? Well, and then it got popular because it was featured in the 1939 Warner Brothers film Naughty But Nice, where it appears to just be lemonade and lots of rum. And I'm thinking, really? Because, we drank that for years when I was younger, just slop the rum in the lemonade and go out on the beach. So, yay. Yeah. But the passion fruit got added later when Pat O'Brien's down in New Orleans decided to serve it as a drink. The place was a speakeasy at the time, and there was a password to get in, and the password was Storms Brewin'. I mean, does that not sound like a totally made-up noir movie kind of thing?
Absolutely. It does.
Mean, I'm not sure I believe this.
No, the Storms Brewing. That sounds like local flavor to me.
It kind of does.
Which is another word for lies.
Here's an interesting factoid. Steve couldn't make it, but the very first A&D meetup was in New Orleans for some convention a couple years back. I forget which. I know Bob was there, Drew, John and me, and we walked Bourbon Street, and we all. I think it's 100% sure we all got hurricanes and hand grenades also.
Ooh, what's in a hand grenade?
No, actual hand
grenades. I'm assuming you mean a drink, right?
Yes.
Okay.
The Hurricane pretty much came across as just like, it basically was just like an alcoholic Slurpee.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of like a daiquiri in that respect.
Well, everything New Orleans is alcoholic Slurpee.
Yeah, that is
right. Right. Yeah, it's 1 part dark rum, 1 part white rum, half part overproofed rum because, of course, and then passion fruit syrup and lemon juice. So.
All right, so they actually, because when they were calling it a Hurricane and it was just rum and lemonade, and you said they changed the name, I thought you were going to say they changed the name when everyone universally decided that 2 ingredients aren't in fact a cocktail. That's just a spirit in a mixer. That's not a cocktail. Should we go out for cocktails? Yeah, I'll be fancy. I'll get a vodka and Coke. You'd be like, go home. That's not what a cocktail is.
Yeah, I'll have an Armageddon with, what's that? Well, it's a spritz of Pepsi and a little bit of schnapps.
Well, then you should have been around during our party days when we invented the ultimate cocktail. We called it an Arcturian.
It was a light beer.
No, it was Arcturian death punch. It was basically all the alcohol that people hadn't finished the night before that did not have cigarettes put out in it or anything else stuck in the glass, and we just mixed it all in a big old tub and drank it the next day. And I'm still alive.
There was a phase when there was a drink called Aftershock, and it was bright red cinnamon stuff, and they released 3 types of it, and one was blue and one was green. And we were big into Final Fantasy VII at the time, so we're just doing materia mixes with this stuff and making cocktails based like that, and we were sick as dogs, but it was a good night. I think we had Added Effect Fall Over, and that lived up to his name. So
wow. I had a friend in college that liked to mix vodka and grape Kool-Aid, and that always just made me want to vomit too. So
nobody want a cocktail? I've got vodka and grape Kool-Aid. It's the fucking most trash cocktail you can think of.
Isn't that awful?
I can do better than that. I went to a party once, and it wasn't vodka; it was Everclear and grape Kool-Aid.
Oh, yuck.
See, it's still not. You chuck something. It's got to have a third ingredient. It can't just be 2 things. That's
with that, I'm sure somebody puked in the bucket or something.
So Steve, I guess you're saying that injecting Everclear into a watermelon and then eating it is not a cocktail either.
I'm almost certain I can unequivocally say with complete confidence that is not a fucking cocktail. That's a watermelon filled with Everclear.
Well, you just don't know.
see, this is why they made things like like Midori melon and like blue curacao. Not because anybody really likes them, but but you take those things like, okay, here's my grape Kool-Aid and my vodka, and you add a little bit of that, and then suddenly it's classy.
Exactly. That's what blue curacao is for. It's just like, I want a vodka and orange juice, but I also don't want to be a killjoy. So I put a third thing in there now. It's a cocktail, little umbrella. It's a cocktail.
Now it's an Andorian rum.
I once baked a chocolate cake and put like half a bottle of vodka in it. I was drunk at the time. And you know what? It wasn't a cocktail. It was a badly made alcohol cake. I once tried to make soup with 4 cans of Special Brew. And I'm going to say that's not a cocktail either.
What kind of soup?
I don't know.
Soup.
Hobo soup, I guess.
Well, I mean, if you're making like cheese soup, you can put beer in with it.
I think Steve's just talking about beer with noodles.
Oh, okay.
I was hungry and I was drunk.
Oh, it was one of those times.
It's like when you're hungry enough, anything is ramen.
Yeah, this is not a cocktail. This is again me just pouring beer in my food. I'm not going to just imagine that 80s film Cocktail with Tom Cruise. Him being all sexy and stuff, and then just like pouring a beer into some Heinz soup. Again, now I want to write that movie also. Oh well.
Cocktail of the homeless.
Just post-apocalyptic cocktail movie.
Just like pulls off his sock, rings it out into a shot glass.
Here's a potato and some antifreeze.
Close enough.
So we used to have more exacting standards about what constitutes a cocktail. There used to have to be at least 3 things. But it's the apocalypse. Here's a potato and a sock doused in antifreeze.
It's like, dear God, I hope this kills me.
Right? I'm pretty sure it will.
Yeah, probably. But what a way to go. All right, let's have an interesting off. Rick, Bevan, who's got the most interesting Wikipedia entry?
Oh, I don't.
I do not.
Oh,
Okay.
that was a quick competition then, wasn't it?
All right. I spent some time living in the state of Mississippi. So, what do you think of when you think Mississippi? Anyone?
Last in the
Single
nation
books.
in math and reading scores.
Those people asking for a bike so they don't have to fuck their sister.
All right. Misty was closest. Education. So, I don't really know what this is, but Wikipedia dished it out to me. It seems so appropriate. The University of Mississippi High School.
What?
Huh?
Take a moment to process that.
I'm looking this shit
The
up.
University of Mississippi High School.
How does that
Fuck.
How does that work?
I guess they figure high school is as good as you're gonna get.
Welcome to preschool high.
Yeah.
It has 2 schools in the title. That makes it twice as good.
Do you want a degree in failing high school? Boy, have we got the place for you.
Well, and it's apparently online. So
It's not even a real building.
I am confused.
It's just somebody out there in Mississippi like, all right, but how does one go to school? Maybe I will Google this. Oh, the high school university sounds like a good place to start. It's got to be an elaborate scam.
It's gonna be like, I want to make a GED program, but I want to make it sound fancier.
Oh wow.
This isn't just any high school. This is a university high school.
Are you looking for your high school diploma and/or doctorate? We can give you both for $50. You have to print it yourself.
Mission and vision. The University of Mississippi High School's mission is to provide students with an accredited quality education in a flexible online environment. Its dedicated and innovative faculty supports students through a rigorous curriculum. Sorry. Laughter mine.
It'd be great if the article just stopped and just said,
The
you
stated
fucking
vision of the
idiots.
school is to lead in 21st century education by educating, challenging, encouraging, and preparing students for their futures in college, career, and community. All right.
That sounds like a load of meaningless tripe.
It's the same mission statement on every school in the world. So
I guarantee you go to their page and when you go to sign up, it basically just says $25 for your GED, $50 for for a bachelor's degree, $100. Here's your PhD.
Yes, you do pay because apparently there's in the FAQs there's a question. What is your refund policy? So apparently you do pay to go here. But
FAQs. Why is my doctorate written in crayon?
now I do have to give Mississippi one thing. They grow some big football players. If you've ever been to an SEC game and Mississippi shows up, their players are enormous people.
Misty,
Yes.
you're hitting a sensitive subject here.
What, Mississippi or SEC or football?
Mississippi
Okay.
and football.
Okay.
When I moved to Kiln, Mississippi, population like 8. I thought, all right, well, whatever else is going on with my life, at least I'll be the most famous person in this shit whole town. But no. I drive past a sign that says home of Brett Favre.
I'm sorry. I didn't realize that you had trauma around Mississippi. I will stop talking about their football players now.
They're big.
Yeah.
And their family deals in meth.
Yeah, probably.
I think there's been actual cases with the Favre family.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes,
So what you're saying is fully qualified accreditation from high school university.
This is where you want to go to get your university education in high school.
Want to play football? Want to deal meth? Boy, do we have the educational experience for you. Nothing else, just those two things.
Congratulations, you're now a methalete.
Methalete. Oh man, that's the future of sport. Well done, Rick. We had the future of cocktails, we've got the future of sport. It doesn't sound like, this didn't sound too, because there's a place in London that sounds like a stupid made-up school, but it's really a prestigious educational establishment called University College.
Oh, golly.
Does that not sound like just a made-up name?
It does.
Somebody
It
was
does, but not as bad as University High School.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that sounds like somebody said to somebody, in my case, like, quickly, give me the name of a university. And they were like, University College. And like, well, that's stupid, but it makes sense. In your case, it was like...
Yeah, that was like the joke in Coming to America. I'm going to the University of the United States.
Yeah. Dumb but credible. But yours is like, high school, university. It's like, okay, well, you've tripped over that one. That doesn't make sense. And
except it is connected to Ole Miss, so I'm guessing it's got a little bit of credibility, but really they could have called it something.
There was an emphasis on little. Yeah, I mean, just putting that on your resume. If I saw that, I'd be like, okay, it says you graduated from the University of High School. Yeah. Call HR. How the fuck are you letting these people through?
Yeah, I mean, it's one step up from like the University of the School of Life. It's like, no, it's not an educational. It's not a university education. It's either a high school education or a lie. Yeah,
I would if I were to looking at resumes, I would sooner believe School of Hard Knocks before seeing that one.
Yeah. If the resume said, I graduated from the University of Go Fuck Yourself, I'd still think that was more credible than high school university. Well, that was an interesting one. Interesting but weird. Definitely fake. Please don't go to that website. I can't imagine it ends well for anyone. Unless you're like a large athlete or a meth dealer, in which case knock yourself out. That's about an hour. Do we want to call it, or does anybody else have anything else to contribute?
I think there's one more. Rick, don't you have one more?
I mean, if we want to, talk about a Scottish island that's full of nothing but birds, sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Scottish Bird Island, take it away.
Well then, the Skerries are a group of sparsely vegetated rocky islets with a total area of 17 hectares.
This sounds like most of Scotland.
Northwest of Angsley Wells. The islands are important as a breeding site for seabirds, and they attract divers who often come to visit the nearest numerous shipwrecks. The Welsh name for this island's means Island of the Seals.
Somebody went to the University of Mississippi High School.
Yeah. Basically, the Welsh name for these is essentially just a long list of random consonants.
To be honest, that's the Welsh name for pretty much everything.
But anyway, the islands are known for having a seabird colony of Arctic terns, which are nationally important for reasons they don't tell us. But they breed there, and
what do they taste like?
Probably chicken.
Probably chicken.
Yeah, probably chicken. I mean, they got sea lions there. I imagine the sea lions are there to eat the birds.
Oddly enough, they say it's the island of seals, but they don't talk about the seals. So I'm assuming that it's just some drunk Welsh guy who called it that, but there's no seals there.
That's entirely credible.
I'd be cool to go and see the sea lions, but I don't want to go see the birds because birds freak me out. So,
But these are special birds, I guess.
And
These are birds of
delicious.
import.
special birds freak me out, especially. Special birds still want to peck your eyes out. You know
It's
it. You
a
can
breeding
look at 'em.
collie, so it's birds fucking.
Yeah. And
That's
and
all
being
they do
pissed
there.
and being pissed off that I have shown up to look at them. They don't want to be watched. They want to be left alone. So
I don't think they give a shit.
I think that Welsh name actually translates to Birdfuck Island.
You show up there, the birds just look at you, they all have kilts on, they're like, take a picture, it lasts longer.
They just want their cloacas tased and
stretch.
to be eaten.
That's all
Oh,
they
wait,
want.
here's a useful tidbit. The site came to national attention amongst birders briefly in July 2005 when it attracted a sooty turn.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Where does
Hold the fucking phone. What?
Like, wait, nestled amongst those Arctic terns is a sooty tern. Fucking bird nerds.
I mean, it's like, did it get lost?
it would appear so. It must have because the Arctic terns come from Antarctica, where they spend the winter. Because
The city turn?
and the
Oh,
city tern comes
wait.
from Easter Island.
Antarctica? Like they fly all the way the fuck up there from there?
Yeah. Hey, yeah, let me go back. But
These are not smart birds.
They haven't got a lot going on.
It's
I
like,
know, but I mean there are.
If you're in Antarctica and you hear of a place called Birdfuck Island, you're flying there.
they
it's like their life essentially involves fucking on this Scottish island, then going and either freezing to death or being eaten by polar bears. This is not.
Yeah,
this
I
is
mean-
not this is not really in favor of evolution here.
This is spring break for them, Bevan. They haven't got a lot going on.
okay,
I know, they
actually,
get the same climate and like
no, they're not being eaten by polar bears because polar bears are only in the Arctic.
I know, but
They're called Arctic
Yeah.
terns, not Antarctic terns.
Well, no, that's true. That's true. But they
and this is
live in
Scotland.
Antarctica.
It's 5,000 miles away from Antarctica.
I know. So why are they flying all that way?
I don't know.
There are other places.
Because they're stupid.
Because Scotland is the only place more depressing than Antarctica.
Yes, these birds, they showed up in Scotland and said, this is a good place to fuck.
I don't know what it is about this bleak, barren rock, but it gets me hard. We should come here every year.
I don't even know if the Scottish have come to that, complete conclusion.
They did. They were the Irish originally. The Scottish are like, I think Billy Connolly had a joke about this. The descendants of people who said, you know, this place is great and all, but we should find somewhere colder and more depressing.
Yeah, we need to lock down Antarctica before the Scots find out about it.
Oh, that would be great if the Arctic terns come to Scotland to fuck and the Scots go to Antarctica to fuck. Every year, a bunch of Scotsmen unload off this boat, and it's nothing but, by 2 weeks of hardcore fucking.
Jock fuck Island.
Oh, God, I want to live in that alternate reality.
I still feel sorry for that poor city bird that got lost among those redneck.
Yeah, because those Arctic terns looked and said, "Who wants to go first?"
Sweet college boy.
If only I could escape. If only I had wings and could fly. Oh, wait.
Well, now I want to visit this mystical, magical place of bird romance. For really depressed birds, I assume. Ah, yeah. Okay, well, I'm glad we ended on a hopeful note.
Oh.
That's been good. We've explored a lot of topics today. That worked out quite well. Thank you again, patrons. Your Patreon dollars make all of this possible. You support all our cool projects, from the comic book to a frickin' movie. So I hope you enjoy this semi-exclusive podcast, and we'll see you next time on the Mimic Chest. Bye.
Bye.
See you in the future.